All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Full Range Wrestling Recap. I am your host, Most Valuable Pat, and today we are going to talk about Monday Night Raw and SmackDown of June 11th, 2018, and June 12th of 2018. We are 5 days from Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and it's one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year. I would say probably the first couple pay-per-views of the year are my favorite pay-per-views. We got Elimination Chamber, Royal Rumble, and then now this one. I do like it when they kind of don't have just regular matches. They kind of go kind of crazy, go up ladders, have rumbles, and all that kind of stuff. So this is actually one of my favorite pay-per-views. It kind of gives an idea about who's next on the in line to be kind of a bigger name in WWE, especially for the men. I mean, there's not really a lot of women that do that, but if anybody of these 8 people that are in the Money in the Bank win the Money in the Bank, they're usually going and getting a push. So that's excellent to see some new guy get a push. I'm glad that they actually did that. But usually on the week before a pay per view, the Raw and SmackDown are pretty good, and this week was actually no exception. There was a couple stupid things that happened, which I'll get into as I go along. But other than that, it wasn't really that bad. They were actually the shows were actually both of the shows were actually pretty good, and I enjoyed watching them both. So we're just gonna kind of go through a few things that went on Raw and SmackDown. I'm not gonna go through everything. There was a couple things I want to talk about. One thing I want to talk about on Raw that really annoyed the shit out of me, and then I'm guessing everybody knows what it is, but then how everything else was great, and this just kind of dragged the show down from if I had to rate it, it would drag it down from like an 8 or 9 to like a 6 or 7, just because it's one segment. It was really stupid. So to start off, we had all 4 of the people that were going to be competitors in the ladder matches: Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, and Bobby Roode, and the girls too. They had Natalya, Alexa Bliss, Ember Moon, and Sasha Banks, and they were all in the ring. And Kurt Angle came out. Sorry, Kurt Angle came out, and they say that he says that they're gonna have a fatal 4-way match between the women and the men. It was going to be Natalya, Alexa Bliss versus Ember Moon versus Sasha Banks. And the guys are going to have the same match at the end of the night: Braun versus Finn versus Kevin versus Bobby Roode. So they started off with the fatal 4-way between Natalya, Alexa Bliss, Ember Moon, and Sasha Banks. These girls, the 2 best girls in the match, are Ember Moon and Alexa Bliss, no questions asked. Sasha Banks is fine, but and Natty is just Natty. I mean, she's been there for a million years, and it's not like she's getting old, but there's a reason why she's only been champion twice. She's not. She's okay, I guess. But she actually ended up winning the match, which is crazy. But she has the momentum going into Money in the Bank. The match was solid. I mean, they really do a lot of good things with these girls, and they know what they're doing. Especially Amber Moon. She's the one that impresses me the most. I mean, she came up from. I felt bad for her. I watched her a little bit in NXT. I felt bad for her because it was just her versus Asuka 4 or 5 times in a row, and of course she lost every time. So I mean, I don't know how that really goes with your morale. I mean, I know you're fighting against Asuka, but I mean, you're gonna fight against Asuka 5 times and then lose. Have one of the best rivalries. And it wasn't even a rivalry because Asuka won every single match, which is it's just kind of weird. But she impressed me the most. She always impresses me the most. Alexa Bliss does too. Sasha Banks, it always just seems like Sasha Banks is just there. You know what I mean? She's not really into it. She just seems like she's there. And Natty is just Natty. But she did end up winning the match with a pretty solid match during the night. So it really wasn't that bad. But after that, they had a segment where it was Kevin Owens is trying to kiss Finn Balor and Bobby Roode's ass to try to get them to team up with him against Braun Strowman. And it was actually pretty funny because the things that he was talking about, he brought he brought Finn Balor some olives, and he said, this is an olive branch, and it was just a big joke, and it was pretty funny. But I mean, he's saying, oh, we should team up against Braun Strowman because he's the biggest threat, and blah blah blah. And then after that, they had Breezango versus Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. Now, okay, so I know what happened last week, that Dolph Ziggler got eliminated from the Royal Rumble, or from the Tag Team Royal Rumble. and they're talking about how they're the best tag team, they're the greatest tag team. We can be anybody, and they put them up against Breezango. I want them to fight against a legitimate tag team. There's not really that many legitimate tag teams on Raw, but I do want to see them fight against a legitimate tag team. They fought against Breezango, whooped their ass, and that was the entire freaking match. That match was kind of a joke. I wasn't really a big fan of it, and I just wasn't really a big fan of it. Then they had this whole segment. It was kind of long. It was a little bit too long, I think, where Jinder Mahal comes out into the ring with Sunil Singh, and he's challenging Roman Roman Reigns to a fight. Roman Reigns comes out expecting to fight Jinder Mahal, and then of course he tricks us all, which is bullshit because I saw it coming from a mile away, that Sunil Singh was going to fight against Roman Reigns. And that match lasted about 5 seconds. Roman Reigns hits him with a super punch, spears him, pins him, and then Jinder Mahal comes in and jumps Roman Reigns. I mean, it's all extraordinarily predictable. I'm glad they didn't have a match before the pay-per-view. Thank God for that. But I mean, it was just kind of extraordinarily predictable. All that stuff is not new. Everything that they do with that crap happens every single time. If you've been watching wrestling as long as I have, you would know that it happens all the time. And it's extraordinarily annoying when they do that. They constantly do that same shit over and over and over and over again. And it's extremely annoying when they do that. They did the same thing with Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn had this big obstacle course ready for Bobby Lashley to. I just say Bobby Roode. I meant Bobby Lashley. For Bobby Lashley to run through. But we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Then they had the B team versus Rhino and Heath Slater, and the B team actually won the match. I'm actually kind of impressed with these guys. They, since breaking up from with the Miz, they kind of, they're doing pretty well for themselves. I hope they actually get some sort of a push. I know they're not going to beat Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, but I love seeing those two fight because I like seeing Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt fight because they're brothers and in real life, and I love seeing them two fight. I mean, you can tell if you just look at the two side by side, you know they're brothers. It's not really that difficult, but it's really cool to see that. It's really cool to see that they have an opportunity to at least go for the championships at Money in the Bank. So I'm pretty happy about that. After that, they had another long ass segment with Elias. Now I swear to God, Elias is just there to do these long ass segments because they don't know what to do with the rest of the night. Like he goes on for out there for 10, 15 minutes a segment, and then he goes back, he fights somebody, and then it's just he doesn't really even fight that many people, but he's got these 10, 15 minute long segments, which doesn't really make any sense. And so I don't know. He's okay, but he's entertaining though. I mean, that's the crazy part is that he's actually entertaining. He had this really cool guitar that he said it was signed by who? I don't remember who it was. He was signed by somebody famous. John Mayer, that's who it was. He said it was signed by John Mayer, and so then Seth Rollins comes out, destroys the guitar. Again, extraordinarily predictable. But they had Bayley versus Ruby Riott. Don't care about that. They don't know how to use Bayley anyway, which is really, really stupid. And they had this whole thing with Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey. They had the contract signing with Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey. And, of course, they fought against each other. It's like every other contract signing that you ever go to and you ever see. Of course, they fight each other, obviously. I'm going to watch that match very closely on Sunday because this is Ronda Rousey's first one-on-one match, and it's for a championship. So all I have to say is that she better impress, because if not, then I don't know, man. But she better impress. After that, they had No Way Jose. I'm not even gonna talk about this match. There was No Way Jose versus Hawkins. Who cares? Then they had the stupid obstacle course that Sami Zayn set up for Bobby Lashley. Around the ring, he had to do all this stuff, and he had to beat Sami Zayn's time And I mean, I could have told you. In fact, I did say it on my stream. I said, "Well, Sami Zayn's gonna jump Bobby Lashley at the end at the end of the obstacle course." Duh. I don't really understand. They need to. They when they do all that kind of stuff, it's not entertaining to me because I can predict it in about 2 seconds. It's not really entertaining to me at all. So why they do that is extraordinarily stupid. But then they had the best match of the night when it was Finn Balor versus Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens versus Bobby Roode. And this match went on for a long time, and it was a good match the entire time. It was like I could barely take my eyes off of the match when I was watching it. A lot of entertaining shit happened. They teamed up on Braun. They all had individual fights. Kevin Owens frog splashed Braun Strowman and knocked him out for a while. So I left Finn Balor versus Bobby Roode, and then they had a really good match. It was very they did a good job of splitting them up, splitting up the combatants and making them fight against each other, and then have them all fight against Strowman. It was just really entertaining to me. I really enjoyed it a lot. But at the end, of course, Braun Strowman comes back in and power slams Kevin Owens for the win, and that was the end of the match. So Natty and Braun Strowman have the advantage going in for the Raw side anyway to the Money in the Bank for both the Money in the Bank matches. Had the momentum going for those matches, and now they have another one down because now they can go and do the Money in the Bank and have the momentum with them for that match, which is great. That's pretty much everything that happened on Raw. Let's jump over to SmackDown for 6/12, and Daniel Bryan actually showed up this time, which is crazy. But they keep on showing. For some reason, they showed the segment of when he occupied Raw, which I hate. That segment, I hate it, and I'll tell you why I hate it. Because I remember going the week before that Occupy Raw shit happened. Raw came to Chicago. And that was the first Raw after CM Punk left. And everybody and their mother thought that CM Punk was going to be there, right? So we were going to hijack Raw. And it wasn't called Occupy Raw. It was called, we were going to hijack Raw. We were actually going to go to the Allstate Arena, and we were actually going to freaking beat, just ruin the Raw for everybody that came out, right? We were just going to boo the crap out of everybody until CM Punk came out. And then they decided to copy off of the fans that were there last week on Raw the next week for Occupy Raw for Daniel Bryan. It was very stupid, and it really pissed me off and pissed off a bunch of people that went to that Chicago show too. I'll tell you that. But man, I hate that stupid segment. But they had Daniel Bryan versus Shelton Benjamin, which do I even need to say what kind of a match that was? Holy crap. That match was amazing because they're both absolutely amazing. Daniel Bryan ended up winning the match by putting the yes lock on him. Sorry, it was a heel hook, not a yes lock. But he hits him, and it was, man, those two guys, man, I'm telling you. Whew. After that, they were talking to Paige, and then all the girls came out, and they were talking about who's going to win, all that kind of stuff, and who's going to win the match. And then Iconics came out, and oh my god, I mean, they start ripping on everybody in the ring, and they're just, I mean, all you have to do to insult them back is pretty much say, you're Layla and Michelle McCool from the 90s, and you're doing the same bit they did 10 years ago. Or not 90s, from the early 2000s. And you're doing the same bit they did 15 years ago. Get something new. That's all you pretty much have to say. And I cannot stand them. So then they made a match with the four of them versus... It was the four of them versus Lana, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Naomi. And that was later on in the night. But later on in the night, Asuka said that she wants to fight against Carmella. So Paige puts Carmella and Asuka in the match for the Fatal 4-Way. Now it's a Fatal 5. And now it's a 5-way tag team match. Or a 10 woman tag team match. So that was pretty cool. But one of the really cool matches that was on during the show was Samoa Joe versus Rusev, with Miz being the special guest referee. And Miz didn't really do a whole lot until the end of the match. When it comes to special referee type, they actually let those two fight. I was really interested to see what they were like when they were fighting, because I've never seen them fight before. It's something new. That's the cool part about Samoa Joe going to SmackDown. He gets to fight against a lot of new faces, and Rusev was on one of these new faces. Samoa Joe, they were going back and forth too. It wasn't just Samoa Joe beating the crap out of him the entire time, but they had him going back and forth, and then Samoa Joe hit or pushed on Miz or smacked him or something like that, and then Miz didn't want to count Samoa Joe's 1, 2, 3 after he hits him with a move, and then Rusev ends up winning the match after that. But all around, pretty ridiculously good match. Then they had another one, it's still the same thing, where this is something we've never seen before. It was Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke, and they just had a really good, just a really good match together. I mean, that again, they have such legends on SmackDown. The wrestling on SmackDown is so much better than it is on Raw that it's just there's no comparison. I mean, they have good wrestlers on Raw, but just nowhere near as good as the ones on SmackDown. I mean, you can just put these matches together just like that without anything going on. It's anything else. Just put them together. There it is, and they make high quality matches, which is fantastic. Jeff Hardy ended up winning the match because Shinsuke kneed him or not elbowed him, hit him in the balls at the end of the match, so that's why he won the match. Then they had this another thing with Big Cass. I'm not even gonna talk about that because I'm tired of talking about Big Cass. Then they had the best match tonight. It was really short. Raw was or SmackDown was. They just had a few matches. I'm not gonna talk about Big Cass. He took up a good 10 minutes of the show, which he didn't even need to, because he keeps on saying the same shit over and over again. I'm 7 feet tall, but I'm not gonna talk about that. Then they had the match, the fatal five, the 10 woman tag team match. Why keep I saying fatal 5-way? The 10 woman tag team match. Charlotte, Asuka, Becky, Lana, and Naomi versus Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, and Carmella. And again, this was the best match of the night. But one of the best matches of the night. There was a lot of good matches on SmackDown, I must admit. They didn't have any bad segments. The only bad segment was Big Cass. I would compare Big Cass's segment to Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley's segment, and Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley's segment was a million times worse. A million times worse than Big Cass. The only thing wrong with Big Cass is that he says the same shit over and over and over and over and over again. I'm 7 feet tall. I'm gonna beat you because you're tiny. Give me a break. You're an idiot. It's really annoying when I hear Big Cass talking. He has to think of new material and he can't. And that's kind of drowned him, I think. But this match it went to the end of the show. Phenomenal match. And Asuka, Charlotte, Lana, Becky, and Naomi end up winning. And they all surround Asuka, look up at the Money in the Bank, and pretty much say, if you win, we're gonna cash in on you at Money in the Bank. So what are you gonna do? I mean, but I don't know if I'm more excited to see this match, the women's Money in the Bank match, or the men's Money in the Bank match more. I'm not really sure. I kind of want to see both really, really bad, because they're both going to be pretty amazing matches, I think. So we'll just have to wait and see. But that's going to pretty much do it for SmackDown. I'm not going to go into great detail of the matches. I'm just going to tell you if I like them or not. And if you really want to, you can go online and check them out and see if you'd like them too. I don't want to go in great detail and just drag the video out. But I'm going to head over to the rumors for the day. I'm going to do the last few days of rumors. Wrestling Observer saying that the idea of Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam is not set in stone. Either way, there could be a Money in the Bank cash-in, no matter the result. They're trying to make it so it's going to be Andrade, Cien, Almas versus Sin Cara and Money in the Bank. Who cares? It sounds like WWE might be planning a new show centered around the term WWE VIP, and it's based on a recent trademark application. They said that WWE signed a former rugby player, Luke Menzies, to a contract. Don't know who that is, but he'll probably be in NXT at some point. WWE has yet to sign Daniel Bryan to a new contract. They want to bring him back, and he's expected to re-sign. They don't think they're going to have a cruiserweight match at the Money in the Bank. And there's apparently some talk of having Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax be the main event at Money in the Bank, which I think should be kind of strange, but that's okay. Speaking of Rousey, Ric Flair told Chris Villette in an interview that she only signed 1-year deal because she wants to have kids, and that's been a rumor flying around for a while. I know she's talked about that on different talk shows and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see how true that actually is. David Meltzer said that Wrestling Observer Radio that Radio Mysterio could be back to WWE by September, and then they had an update about the Ronda Rousey contract. The Ronda Rousey contract, and she did sign a multi-year contract. This is just a couple days after the last rumor came out. And at this point, it's considered more likely Undertaker will wrestle at SummerSlam. More likely Undertaker will wrestle at SummerSlam than John Cena. Who knows what Cena's doing these days? I mean, he's promoting his breakup on that stupid TV show, Total Bellas, which is, I watch Total Divas, but I don't watch Total Bellas. If I did, I'd stop watching that show because they put their relationship out there in public and just to flaunt the show, which is crazy. And that's pretty much everything with that. I mean, one more is that Noam Dar will be at this week's TV tapings, expecting to return to knee surgery soon. So that's good. He's been out for a little bit, but kind of stinks that he was out. But he'll be back soon. So we'll see what happens with that. But that's going to pretty much do it for our episode of Full Range Wrestling Recap. So thank you very much for watching. I'm looking forward to talking about Money in the Bank this weekend. So next week is going to be a longer episode. So we can talk about the Money in the Bank. We could talk about the Raw after SmackDown after Money in the Bank. See what happens. I don't want to make any predictions. Well, actually, I haven't made. Well, who's going to win? I'll make a couple predictions. I'll do that. I'll make a couple predictions. Who I think is going to win Money in the Bank for men's? I'm hoping Braun Strowman wins it. I kind of want to see Finn win it. But I think it's going to be Braun Strowman. I don't know. I have a feeling. As for the women, who's going to win the Money in the Bank? Man, I don't know. That's a good question. It'll probably be like Charlotte or something like that. It'll probably be Charlotte. They'll probably be Charlotte. But I don't know who I even know who I want to see win. There's not really anybody in particular I really want to see win. Maybe, well, no, I'd say Charlotte. I'd say Charlotte's the only person I actually want to see win. If anybody else wins it, I'd just be like, okay. Maybe Becky, because she hasn't really done anything in a while. So I'm hoping that Becky wins that match, but we'll see. I mean, but it's probably going to be Charlotte again. That's going to be Charlotte versus Asuka again, but this time reversed. I think Asuka's going to beat Carmella, and I think that Shinsuke's going to beat AJ. Because Shinsuke's going to do something stupid, and that AJ's not going to be able to get up from it. So that's what I think is going to happen at Money in the Bank. So that's my predictions for Money in the Bank. But let's hear your predictions. I'm curious what you guys think, what you guys want to happen or want to see happen in Money in the Bank. It should be a very interesting Money in the Bank. Let's just say that. But we'll talk about it more next week. See how many of my predictions actually came true. But thank you for watching this episode, and we will see you on the next show. Please don't forget to like and share and subscribe to our channel if you're interested and if you want to hear more of the Full Range Wrestling Recap. But thank you very much for watching, and everybody have a great week. Bye.